Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of the Las Vegas Advisor Weekly Update with Anthony and Andrew. Today is Thursday, July 25th, 2024.
You got it.
I got it.
You hit it. You hit that year right on the button.
Yes.
Good job. Good to see you. You know, you're awake, ready to go, man, on top of it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to talk about. We got some controversy, but first, we want to talk about the Mirage, because we never really followed up on that.
We didn't give it its closing, its closing statements and everything else. I was there.
Did you get your final Heineken?
I did. I got the final Heineken. It was not the last Heineken at the Mirage.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a Heineken. $9.21.
Yikes.
I wonder what it was when it opened in 1989. I wonder if it was anywhere near $9.21. I would say absolutely not.
Right.
But it was good. I actually had more fun at the Tropicana closing.
Okay.
For some reason, I guess there were more people I knew. Surprising at the Mirage, there weren't many people I knew, though there were lots of people.
It looked crowded. I saw a lot of pictures and stuff, and it looked really crowded.
Yeah, it was crowded. It was, selfie city. Mm-hmm. I mean, everyone was taking selfies everywhere.
Yeah.
It was good. There were people you could see they were sad. There were other people that just didn't give a shit. They were just there to have some beers, and whatever.
I took selfies too. How could you not?
I know. So what's going on now? It's all boarded up.
Yep.
Like we always talk and say, once they start taking these places apart, they put the fence around it and then they put the boards. Mm-hmm. We always wondered why the boards. What don't you want to see? But somebody made a great comment in the comment section saying it's so debris doesn't fly out through the open fences.
That's right.
So they got that. Demolition is already underway. The first thing that's going to happen is the volcano.
Yep.
The sign is already down. They're taking that down. The volcano will be probably the first thing to be, essentially demolished.
And there's no more volcano. Like, you can't see it anymore. It's not active. It's not live. It's just done.
Yeah, to their credit, they did. The volcano went off right up till the end. They had one final eruption, I think, either late the night before or early in the morning. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Adios, Mirage, man.
Yeah. All right. So big news in Vegas. The WSOP, the World Series of Poker main event, has come to an end. What's the update?
New champion, obviously.
Yep.
Jonathan Tamayo, I think is how it's pronounced. 38-year-old professional player from Texas.
Okay.
Was a record-breaking field this year, 10,112 players. So he goes all the way down, beats them all, takes $10 million.
Incredible.
Beat Jordan Griff. I guess that was second place. Not a pro. Griff was an amateur, apparently, from Arizona. The 65 hands, back and forth heads-up play. That was back and forth. Both of them were all in once or twice. So Griff had his chance. And eventually Tamayo, comes out ahead. The pro beats the amateur. Interestingly, Tamayo was his roommate is Joe McKeon, who won in 2015.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a pretty good tandem right there. But Jonathan Tamayo, the new world champ for a year.
It's amazing that an amateur can make the final table, but it's also quite encouraging.
Well, we're going to talk about something even more amazing in terms of final table in a minute.
Okay, but that's not all there is to it, Anthony. There's a big controversy brewing. Yeah,
there is. I mean, this hatched after the thing was done.
Right, with the winner.
Yeah, they're talking about, especially I think when they were down, well, on the final table for sure, and I think when they were down to heads up, the Tamayo was going to his rail, as they call it. All right, on the rail is where all of your backers are and your friends and all the people who are rooting you on.
Yeah.
And there were computers up and out and everything, and there was a lot of talk and discussion and rubbernecking, all the rubbernecking to see the computer. And the talk is about them using what are called solvers.
Right.
And a solver is essentially a computer program that will tell you how you should play all the hands, what they call GTO, which is game theory optimal.
Right.
And you're not supposed to have help, but there's a discussion about, I think there's a 15-minute delay. And then they can talk about hands that were played. And they were telling Tamayo how he either played correctly or incorrectly and giving him more information. So there's a controversy about whether or not that's cheating.
Right. Well, how do you feel about it, Anthony? Like, do you feel that using a solver in poker is cheating?
Well, if you were using it at the during the hand, I do. But it seems to be the consensus of the fraternity, or the industry of poker pros, is that what he was doing was wrong.
Okay.
And that it was either cheating or, at least, as I've heard over and over again, a very bad look. I have a little bit of a different opinion on that, and you and I were going to really get into it, but we have Blair Rodman coming in, who was a gold bracelet winner in the World Series, and Frank B. potentially, who is a tournament and contest expert.
Right.
And we're going to sit down and shoot a show with them for next week.
Yes.
So we'll save some of this for that and get their opinions. I got a feeling that Blair is going to say he thinks it is cheating, and I'm going to be on the other side saying I really don't. And I'll tell you quickly why I don't, because first of all, it wasn't spelled out from what I can see specifically that you couldn't use it after the fact. And second, it was an opportunity that was open to both players, if we're talking about the heads-up play. And the one who used it is just simply using the tools at his disposal.
Using more information.
Yeah. So we're going to get into that. We're going to shoot that. We're going to shoot that right after this show. It's going to be a little bit of an advance because next week is Las Vegas Advisor. I'll be on deadline. So we're going to have our guests next week, and we'll have this conversation.
Yes, because I don't think this is going away. I mean, this is going to be something that the WSOP has to make a decision on going into for next year as well.
So we'll throw our hats in the ring with what we think.
So also staying with the World Series of Poker, let's talk about the last woman standing, which means the last woman to be eliminated.
Yeah, well, this was a big story.
Yeah.
I mean, now the controversy thing is like taking center stage. But in the history of the World Series of Poker main event, there's only been one woman to make the final table. And that was Barbara Enright in 1995. And she finished fifth.
Okay. And
since Enright in 95, no woman has made it. A couple have gotten, relatively close, but I mean, not really stones throwing close, that they were almost there. And this year there was Kristen Foxen, well-known female poker pro.
Yep.
Finished in 13th place.
Now you said she was the chip leader for a while.
Well, when there were less than 20 players left.
Yeah.
And they're playing down to 9, and her goal is to get to the final table. And at one point, with fewer than 20 players, she was the chip leader.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, in a tournament like this, things can happen real fast.
That's right. 2 all-ins.
And then just bang, bang, and she was gone out in 13th place. So kind of a shame. I was kind of rooting for her to get there.
Yeah.
There are a lot of great female poker players, Maria Ho and Annie Duke, who did our book Decide to Play Great Poker, that have, not been able to do it. And Kristen's well known, and Kristen Foxen, and she almost did. So I don't know. That was good. It was cool. One of these days, the girls will get there.
Yeah, maybe next year. All right. Now, in this next bit, Anthony, this is a bit disappointing. There's a lot of local bars that have announced that they're closing. We talked about the Crown and Anchor already, but now there's a few more notable bars.
Yeah, it's been like a bar bombing, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been amazing.
Yeah, usually you go to a bar to get bombed, but this is the opposite.
Yeah, some really high profile, what we call the mom and pop bars, are closing, and we'll get into the reasons why in a minute. But here's a listing. First, we started with what they call the Big Crown and Anchor on Tropicana, been open for nearly 35 years. And following the Trop, it was just like a flood of them closing. The Blue Diamond Saloon, of them, the least highest profile is probably that one, the Blue Diamond Saloon. I've been there a couple of times, not a lot. Noreen's on the east side. 30 years, Noreen's has been a Pittsburgh Steelers bar.
I've been to Noreen's a lot of times. They
on Tropicana, East Trop.
It's disappointing.
Boom, Noreen's gone. Coopy's, way on the other side of town. Now, Coopy's we've talked about on the show. They had one of the great what we call Instacomps that you would go in and play $140 through, and you could pick off of a special menu.
Oh, cool.
With big sandwiches and soup and all this kind of stuff. So Coopy's closed.
I haven't been, but I've driven by. There's a few of them, I think.
Yeah, and then I hear next week, Sporting Life, not the original Sporting Life, but Sporting Life Home Field on Sahara, is going to close, and that's a shame because we have a coupon with them.
Yeah, that's a real bummer.
Yeah, that's one of the member rewards coupons. We'll talk about that a little later. But this has been happening steady for 5, 6, 7 years now. And the last time I remember when a whole bunch like this happened, a bunch of places like Michael's Pub, Triple Play, Dealer's Choice. These were all great long-time bars in Vegas that just closed.
And what do you think is driving it?
You know, when it comes to a lease, any business really that's going to have a brick and mortar location,
right?
They have to have a building open. They've always got to worry about their lease. Now, what's happening with these bars that are losing their leases or not able to renew, either there's something else behind it, or a lot of the owners of the land and the buildings are holding out for deals with Dottie's and Jonies and things like that.
Right, they're just going to jack up the rent a bit.
Yeah, because these are the things that are happening. You know, when these places go out of business or when they close, almost, you know, invariably a Joni's or a Dottie's or a Lola's pops up there.
Right.
So it's all these places that are taking over. I mean, there's still a lot of these good, you know, mom and pop bars around, but boy, that's 5 of them right there. Crown and Anchor, Noreen's, Blue Diamond Saloon, Coopy's, and Sporting Life. I hate to see them go, man.
Yeah.
I love those places.
It's a bummer. So in our last episode, we talked about Tres CAZUELAS, which is a fantastic restaurant right around the corner from our office. But there's an update to that update.
Yeah, you know, we talked about the great deal. Tres CAZUELAS, it's Latin food right next to the Sand Dollar Lounge. And we said that they had a terrific 50% off steak deal, which they do, but we said for the summer, we said Tuesday through Thursday, and it's Tuesday and Wednesday only.
Okay.
They changed that. We didn't get it wrong. They changed it as far as I can tell. Anyway, still fantastic.
Yes.
You know, fantastic deal. The way to play that, we said before, go on a Wednesday where the steaks are 50% off, bring your own wine, and it's free corkage.
And you recommend the bacon wrap dates, everybody.
Oh, the bacon wrap dates. Iberico dates, they're called. They're $8. But here's the thing, on Thursday, they switched. The reason they're not doing it on Thursday now is they switched to a wine and tapas tasting on Thursday nights.
This sounds like a good deal.
Oh, this is terrific. I mean, I haven't gone and done it, so something might be off here. But when I looked at their ad for it, or their explanation of it, and it says basically 3 flights of wine and a different wine and a different tapas for $20.
That sounds really cool. It sounds like a fun date.
Yeah, I don't think you're getting dates, right? I told you the dates.
It's all about the dates.
You know, the dates might be one of the tapas you get to taste. I don't know. But, I mean, I doubt it's a full pour of wine. But so what? You know, you're going to get 3 appetizers and 3 wine for $20. Again, Tres CAZUELAS is the name. Terrific place.
Yeah, and if you're looking for a cool date, there you go. Double entendre.
You got it.
All right. And in this week's question of the week, it comes to us from the comments. It says, the Olympics are starting. Can you bet on them in Las Vegas or a sports book in other states?
Okay. Yes. The answer is yes. Now, in terms of other states, it depends. And, in Nevada, it depends on what the rules are in those states. And I haven't looked at every rule book of every state, but I'm sure there's a few where they outlaw the Olympics for whatever reason. The Olympics used to not be allowed. You could not bet on the Olympics in Vegas, in Nevada, but that was changed a few years ago.
Okay.
So yes, you can. Now the question is, well, yes, you may if they've got one up. Now, can you? It's hard to say. Who will have lines up? So like 3-4 years ago, everyone was like, "Hooray, we get to bet on the Olympics!"
Right.
And after they did it, they were like, nobody wanted to bet.
Nobody made money. Nobody bet.
Yeah, well, they likened it to like the handle on a baseball game.
Okay.
And which doesn't get a whole lot of handle compared to other sports, especially football. And that was like for the whole Olympics. So what will you be able to bet on? Almost certainly you'll be able to bet on, and we're talking about Vegas now, basketball.
Okay.
Because everybody's, interested in the men's and women's basketball. So there'll be lines on that. There might be lines on soccer because soccer's gotten more and more, although the U.S. team just got trounced by France. So,
Really? Okay.
Who knows how long they'll be in it, and that'll be up. And maybe some high-profile track, maybe.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Possibly. You might see a line on like the 100-yard dash or, the 220s, the 200, something like that.
Those are fun to watch.
Listen to me, old-timer, man, 220. They ain't no 220 anymore. It's 200 meters, right?
That's right. 220 yards, I think they had. Yeah.
So no one's advertising it. No one's going, come to our joint. We got, we got Olympic lines up. So
Come bet on the Olympics,
you have to look around. Certainly, if you want to bet, if you've got access to offshores and things like that, you'll be able to find lines.
And in this week's Jackpot of the Week, this is an awesome one. Thank you, Bob A. We love hearing these stories. It reads almost like a commercial. It says, this is the first year I've purchased the LVA Members Reward Book, and I plan to do so every year to come. This evening, we were heading to Ellis Island for trivia night in the front yard, which is fun. And I used the LVA free play coupon to take a few spins on a slot. 5 spins at the $3 denom, and I had already won a little under $100 when on the 6th spin, it hit for $3,590. Not a bad return on a $50 investment in the book, which had already paid for itself.
Well, like you say, it reads like a commercial, and that's why we ran it.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, this is true. There's nothing like testimonials, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Bob A, man, he went to Ellis Island. There's a $10 free play in there.
Yep.
Played it on a slot machine, Platinum Plus. I know nothing about it.
Okay, me too.
I
really don't either.
I've got no comment on it. It's a slot machine. So what? It's free play. Go for it, right?
Yeah.
He was doing great. We've heard over the years, we've had lots of reports of people using free play from LVA and getting like royals. Mm-hmm. But this is one of the biggest that we've heard. I think we've probably had a $4,000 royal or two, but a $3,000 hit, $3,600 hit.
It's beautiful.
It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So there we are. You know, there you go. We're not kidding. There's value in that there book.
Yeah, and Bob, you know, this definitely changes your vacation, right? Like now you go, you know, maybe I will go to Gordon Ramsay and get the beef Wellington, you know?
Yeah. No, here's the funny thing about it. He's going, thanks to LVA. Well, in a way, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was just in the right place at the right time. You know, he might have been there anyway and done the same thing and sat down and hit it.
You never know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not like because there was magic in the coupon.
Yeah.
But it did lead the horse to water, right?
You can't win if you don't play, playa. And this leads us into our next thing, which is please leave a review, leave your testimonial on Yelp, on Google. We got a link in the description box.
Yeah, we're going to be going for pretty soon to start getting the coupons for 2025.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah, so the more we get people involved with us, you know, members and such like that, the better we can do with the casinos.
That's right, you guys. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And that's it for this week.
Don't forget next. I mean, right after this, we're going to be shooting with Blair and possibly Frank B, talking about, you know, a bunch of things that have to do with playing tournaments and things like that.
And that will air soonish.
Yep, next week.
Well, I'm going to